Former private sector organization of Jamaica President Howard Mitchell argues that this proposal is only the tip of the iceberg because permanent secretaries sometimes are not given the power and tools to fulfill their responsibilities. Chairman of the Economic Growth Council, EGC, Michael Leachin, raised the issue Wednesday at an EGC news conference. Currently, the law does not allow permanent secretaries to be removed from office. Mr. Leachin sees legislative changes as one solution to removing non-performing permanent secretaries who could become barriers to the government achieving its goals. Mr. Mitchell takes a personal standpoint that if this were implemented, then political representatives should also be subject to similar standards.
The Leachin has opened a rather large can of worms. There are some logical inconsistencies in what he has said, one of which is how can you hold somebody accountable when that person doesn't have the power to hold the people below him accountable either. The fact is that he's talking about public sector reform in an oblique way, but you cannot single out the permanent secretaries and attempt to put them on a performance basis, and you have not done what is necessary to reform the public sector, to give the public sector the capacity, the resources, the tools, the culture, and the philosophy to do their job. And furthermore, I personally, and I'm speaking personally, would have a difficulty with holding the permanent secretary responsible and setting performance metrics for the permanent secretary when the promise that politicians be subject to performance metrics has not been kept.
In the meantime, senior lecturer in the Department of Sociology at the UWI Mona, Dr. Orville Taylor, is asking questions about Mr. Leachin's proposal. He believes the issue of performance would have to be settled so that improper motives would be eliminated.
Is the problem one of lack of accountability in the civil service anyway? I don't know whether that is what the problem is. Is there any kind of evidence that we have seen that the problems that we have are simply because the permanent secretaries are not being held accountable? I don't know about that. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite, that the politically elected people don't have the level of scrutiny that we'd want them to have. And how would you actually measure the underperformance when the underperformance could simply mean that you're not carrying out the behest of a minister who might be very well corrupt?
Michael Sharp, Frontline News.